Hi everyone. Wow, it's been a minute. But I'm back. After 2 years, I said that I was gonna do a dedicated apothecary video, and here I am. 2 years late, but here I am. For those who don't know me, I'm Leon. For those who don't follow my TikTok, you may have seen me on various podcasts like The Amazing Tavern to Roll or Hefty Yeti. Great friend of mine, amazing, go check him out. Go check out Tavern to Roll. Great streams. Other podcasts are available, but they're all equally as great because they're Empire themed, and everyone loves an Empire themed podcast. IFIS rep Toddy Birch, well, formerly known as Toddy Birch, now going on to Toddy Kraken Ring. That's for a separate video potentially. I am a Toddy. Well, Toddy is a Wintermark Changeling Steiner Apothecary. He also does trades. He runs a shop called the Broken Potion. He's been coming to Anvil for about 5 years now. Well, going on to 5 years. This video will be focused around Apothecary related game in the setting of Empire created by Profound Decisions. The topics I'll be covering are rituals to boost or hinder your herb garden, rituals that will help give you more herbs when you're at a summit, and lots of other things, stuff like the artisan items that are available for the apothecaries. Yeah, I hope you enjoy. I will also be adding timestamps into the video and in the description based on the various topics that I'm going to cover, just to help people out if they have specific things that they want to look at and learn about. Yeah, hope you enjoy. Let's get into it. So, what do you need to become an apothecary? Well, when you create your character, you start with 8 experience points. You gain 2 experience points a year after every alternate event you go to. You start with 8. You must first take Chirurgeon, that's how I say it, everyone says it differently, before you can take the apothecary skill. Yeah, once you've done that, you will get the base apothecary recipe as an initial start, and then every recipe following on from that is 1 experience points. Now, there are some skills, combat heavy skills and hero points and such, which require an additional point on top of each time you get it. So for health, for example, every time you get 1 point of extra health, you then pay an additional. So for 2 points, you want 2, and so on. I think that's how it works. That's not the case with apothecary. 1 potion, 1 experience point will get you 1 recipe. It will take you a long time to get a vast amount of recipes or complete the list. I think someone said on average it takes about 6 years. It takes a while. I'm pretty close. Like I said, I am approaching my 5th year. But yeah, I think that is it. We will move on to our next point. So, point 1, the herb garden resource. Let's talk about the herb garden. If you're an apothecary, you most likely will be taking a herb garden resource. Each summit without the use of a ritual to boost your resource, which rituals I'll come on to a little bit later, you will get 14 herbs each summit as a base. That's split into 6 true Vervain and 2 Cerulean Maz, 2 Imperial Roseweald, 2 Marrowort, and 2 Bladeroot. Sorry, missed one there. Yeah, I will also go into the various, what they do, their effects, yeah. So one thing, little disclaimer here, put a little thing, disclaimer, is that your not really supposed to discuss prices online, whether it's videos or in messages and stuff like that. You know, it's not really good conduct. You know, so you've got to be good. So I will not be discussing the prices of the various herbs. If you're an existing player, you'll already have sort of a benchmark of, you know, what you trade for and stuff like that. If you're new, talk to people, ask around. There's a few good sheets, like pricing sheets, pricing guides at Anvil. Have a look at those. Regardless of where you're getting your price guides, you need to remember that these are what people are expecting them to buy for or sell for, and these are what their estimates are. So take it with a grain of salt. Once you've been at Anvil for a little while, once again, if you're already an existing player, you're going to know what you're selling for and buying herbs for. But take some time, talk to people, talk to other traders, and sort of know what you want your worth to be and what you want your sort of price range to be. So yeah, let's get into what the herbs do. Here we go. Herbs, what are they? What do they do? As you can see, I have adjusted the camera a little bit, so we've got all this space here. I'll be doing little insert shots here of what the herbs look like. The first thing that you should know is with herbs and potions, you always need a fizz rep for them. So I'll do a little insert shot here or somewhere, it might be a video. This is just a quick video to show the different fizz reps. So this is true Vervain. So these are my little fizz reps for each of the herbs. They're with the corresponding herb. This is Imperial Roseweald. Oh no, that's the wrong one. Imperial Roseweald. So most of these fit the description on the wiki. So yeah. Cerulean Mazzarine. Annoyingly the font went a bit low. Yeah, Cerulean Mazzarine. So what I do is when I roleplay, I just take a bit out, put it in my alchemist kit from Darkblade. So they could be better, but this is what I've done just on a budget. So I got these from a player who didn't want the fizz reps anymore, but I made the actual labels and stuff. So the plants are coming from a player, the actual fake plants, but I've done all the custom like labels and stuff like that. So yeah, so that are the different fizz reps, cards and their fizz reps that I have. It doesn't have to be exact because otherwise it'll be difficult to do. But yeah, you need fizz reps for your potions and for your herbs. For my potions, I do water and food colouring to try and match what the description is of the potion. But yeah, also another thing, not just fizz reps, it is important that, you know, when we're at Anvil, we are role playing, that when you've made a potion, before you've made a potion, after you've made a potion, you need to do the appropriate roleplay. Whether it's sitting on the side of the road, acting like you're making something, or sitting in your tent. So for example, I've got a mortar and pestle. When I make a potion, I'll go into my tent, I'll, you know, make a bit of noise, I'll tap the mortar and pestle. You have to do the roleplay. So yeah, with that out of the way, let's get into the various herbs, what they do and what they look like. So, true Vervain, this is what it looks like. I'll not be going into the full descriptions that are on the wiki because that will add a lot of time, and I already think this video is going to be quite long. Oh, you can see my mic. Yeah, so true Vervain. True Vervain is primarily used as a healing herb. For a physic, it restores a user to full hits with the appropriate amount of roleplay. I believe it's 30 seconds. For a apothecary, it does the same thing, but just a bit more diluted. A prime example of a true Vervain being used is one of the base apothecary potion sets, there is a potion called Elixir Vitae. I believe it takes True Vervain and Imperial Roseweald. I could be wrong. Pretty sure it's Imperial Roseweald. And that restores the user who drinks it to 3 hits. It gives them 3 hits back. Very good for combat. I will also, like I said, they drink it. I will go into the various forms of the potions because there are many. There is oils and there's salves and infusions. I'll go into all of those later in the video. That is True Vervain. So let's move on to number 2. Number 2, we'll be talking about Cerulean Mazzarine. Now, Cerulean Mazzarine, most of the herbs are for traumatic things that happen on the field, whether you need to heal your hits or your wounds or traumatic effects, stuff like that. Obviously when you put them into potions, they do a various amount of things. Again, I'll get onto a list further in the video about the various sets, what they do, there is a magic boost in sets, there is poisons, there is a bunch of things. Don't make poisons. They're going to be interdicted soon anyway. Good. Probably. But yeah, so Cerulean Mazzarine. Cerulean Mazzarine, that's what it looks like. Cerulean Mazzarine repairs a limb that has been, or repairs a limb that has been cleaved or impaled. Cleave or impale, for those that are new, are what happens with a cleave is a sword or an axe or something, comes down on your leg or your arm, and your arm is essentially gone. It's been chopped off. Impale, I'm not a fighter, so I could be wrong on some of these bits. Impale is basically if an arrow hits you and you've not got any armor, you're impaled. If you are spiked by the end of a spear, I believe that is an impale. I could be wrong. Sorry if I am wrong. But yeah, I'm not a fighter. So yeah, that is what I know about Cerulean Mazzarine. So, moving on to Bladeroot, number 3. Bladeroot, that's what it looks like. What does it do? Bladeroot removes the weakness condition. Now, for those that are new to Anvil, weakness is a call that disables you from being able to use hero calls. For example, cleave, impale. I don't know if impale is a call, but yeah. Sorry, once again, not a fighter. Please excuse my lack of knowledge in these ways. Hopefully, I'll show my knowledge in other ways throughout this video. But yeah, an example of Bladeroot being used in a potion would be Featherfall Elixir, which also removes the weakness conditions. So the benefits to using potions over herbs, in my opinion, could be argued either way. I appreciate that there is a lot of physics, and they so much respect to the physics of the Empire. But my personal opinion is that if you don't have a physic around that has to do 30 seconds of appropriate roleplay, taking a potion takes 5 seconds. So within that time, if you could take 30 seconds to restore you to full hits, if we're talking about True Vervain, within that time you could have a fair few Elixir Vitaes. So yes, you're going to get the full effects from a 30 seconds, but in like a 30 seconds compared to 5 seconds is a big difference in a fight, and the tide can definitely turn within that 30 seconds to 5 seconds. So yeah, anyway, Feverful Elixir removes weakness. That is a 5-second potion to take, and it is a liquid. So we will move on now to the next herb. Moving on to our 4th herb, Imperial Roseweald. What does it do? What does it look like? That's what it looks like. Imperial Roseweald, it removes the venom condition. Now, venom is very nasty. What it does is it brings down your bleed count by a vast amount. I believe the bleed count is 1 or 3 minutes. I'm not entirely sure. Once again, I apologise. I'm not a fighter. However, very nasty. The Druge tend to use a lot of venom. Essentially how it works is if you go down to 0 hits, you're on your bleed count. If that count goes to 0, your character is dead. There is no coming back from it, they are dead. An example of Imperial Roseweald being used in a potion is a blood harrow filter, which does the same thing. It gets rid of venom. Once again, I've said in a previous clip, you know, this is just my personal opinion. Once again, I have a vast amount of respect for our physics for keeping our people alive when fighting. If you're venomed, getting someone to come over and get rid of that effect with 30 seconds can be a lot. If you're in the heat of battle and you're facing the Druge, there's a long line of Druge and you're under miasma and you're under venom, pop a blood harrow filter. 5 seconds. That is also a liquid. So, that is Imperial Roseweald. We shall move on to the next herb and the final herb. Fifth and final herb is Marrowort. What does it do? What does it look like? That's what it looks like. Right there. Marrowort, the herb, allows you to ignore a traumatic wound or overcome a traumatic wound. Traumatic wounds, for those that don't know, essentially, if you're in the heat of battle and you take maybe an axe to the chest, you may still have armor, but a ref will run up to you and say, that looked really gnarly, here you go, and provide you a lammy, which is an opener, like you can open it and it has an effect and so on, and it will tell you, you know, you took an axe to the chest, your rib cage is broken and your chest is open. You need to get that healed. If you don't, most traumatic wounds they will end in death. So they're not light, they're not things to be taken lightly. Traumatic wounds, like I said, they're difficult things to deal with. An example of Marrowort being used in a potion is an anodyne analgesiac. I don't know if I'm saying that correctly, apologies if I am, but that allows you to ignore a traumatic wound until the end of battle. That is very important, until the end of battle. You cannot come back through battle, come through the Sentinel Gate and you're fine. That's not how it works. Once the battle is over, you will need to go to the Anvil Hospital and hand in that sheet and do the roleplay effects. If for the example I give, your chest has just been burst open, and they will heal you. So that is the final herb, Imperial Roseweald. Let's move on to the next point. Moving on to the various forms of potions. Now, as stated, the previous potions that I gave examples were liquids. Now, I'll go into what the various forms are. So you have liquids, also known as philtres, which you can take as many as you like, no repercussions or anything like that. You could always ask a ref, say I've had 30 mage bloods, which restore mana. Can I have a traumatic effect or something? You may be throwing up liquids or something weird. So yeah, you have liquids, also known as philtres. You have oils, blade oils for example, and I'll give some examples as well. Infusions, and poisons and their antidotes, and tonics. So I'll give some examples, and a disclaimer for one of them. Infusions are what they sound like. You inhale this concoction. So an example of an infusion that everybody loves, and if you're new to Anvil, I'd highly recommend you try it, is Goose Whisper. Goose Whisper is a concoction of various herbs and turns into an infusion that allows you to have a vision. Out of character, this will basically be you go to a dedicated area. I've not done it before, I know about it though. Go to a dedicated area and PD act out a vision, or a crew will come along and they'll act out a vision or tell you what you see or hear and so on and that, and then they'll give you a roleplay effect. An example of a blade oil would be, sorry I've got some notes here, would be the oil of blackthorn. This blade oil you rub onto your blade, and within 5 seconds you must do a hit and call venom. So this particular oil is particularly useful for the nation of the Var. It's a little bit expensive, but when they're fighting the Vervain, which maybe have a little read about them or ask about them if you come and you're in Navarre or so on, these Vervain will die under the effect of venom, so that is a very useful blade oil for them. Tonics. Now, I'm going to give a disclaimer and an example. Tonics are, unlike Philtres / liquids, potions, tonics, you can only be under the effect of one tonic at a time. So the example I'm going to give here is a Sovereign Specific. Now, Sovereign Specific is one of the most expensive potions to make. It costs 8 herbs to make one. But it also does a vast amount. It basically does everything that the basic potions do, the basic apothecary potions do. Heals you to full, restores limbs, ignore traumatic wound, and some other stuff. Removes venom and weakness. It's very useful. The downside is, if you have another tonic and you take this other tonic, it will override the tonic that you took at first. So if you're under a Sovereign Specific and someone gives you a tonic and says this is what it does and you drink it, you will no longer be under the effects of a Sovereign Specific. So yeah, that is the various forms of the potions. So we're going to move on now to the recipes in order. I've broken them down into sections. I will be reading from a screen, so please excuse. Just had to get it all formatted for you. So yeah, let's get into it. I'll do a little thing at the bottom here, just to say, you know, what group I've put them in and what they are. If they're interdicted and so on and stuff like that. So let's begin. We've got the first ones, I'm breaking them down into healing and supporting potions. So for this sort of block, we've got the Apothecary basic potions, Master Medicinal, double-sided blade, which is now interdicted, so I think you can make them, but I think it's illegal, I'm not sure. Philtres of the High Peaks, Philtres of War, Tonics of the Deep Forest, Tonics of the Open Sky, and Unshackled Gift. We're going to move on now to magical related preparations. You have Balms of the Balms of the Fountainhead, which is Spring Lore. Decoctions of Hoarfrost, which is Winter Lore. Magnum Opus is Night Lore. Tinctures of True Eminence is Summer Lore. Urgence of the Falling Leaves is Autumn Lore. I think that's all of them. I'm forgetting day. I'll try to add day in here after this. I'll add it down here somewhere. Infusions of Feathers, which is, like I mentioned before, Goose Whisper and stuff like that. And Tisans, I can't say that word, of the Labyrinth, which is religious ceremonies. Next we're going to go on to poisons and their antidotes and blade oils, and to keep things short, once again I'm going to have things down here, but I'm going to have, for short poison and antidotes, I'm just going to have P&A. So you've got the Assassin's Gate, the Last Resort, the Winter Moon, all those are poisons. Next you have Legacy of Thorns, which is blade oils. Does also contain Gut Wrench, which isn't a poison but technically could be seen as a poison, which is illegal to make and carry. Yes. And yeah, that's all of it. So next we'll go on to the rituals, what they do, how they affect you. I'm not going to talk about the negative rituals because you can have a look at that. I'm just going to be talking about the beneficial ones. You can have a look when you search on the Empire LARP wiki on the herb garden. It will tell you all of the good and the bad ones. It misses a few out, but I'm going to go into those as well. Right. see you soon. So, just a quick word. I know I said I was finishing. This is the final word on the forms. I want to specifically say about poisons, because it's good to take note of them. If you're making a poison, you will need a ref. You'll need a ref there, because most poisons are put into liquids and stuff. You'll need a ref around you when you are giving it to someone. Obviously, don't make poisons. Don't be bad. If you want to, that's your game. Feel free. Just don't go around shouting about it. I'm not endorsing anyone makes poisons. They're not good. One key thing to know about poisons is when you make a poison at God, that poison is only ever stable and strong enough within 15 minutes. So, for example, I'm in Wintermark, and I'm a very fairly slow walker. If I go to God and make a poison, which I won't do and don't do, I will have to get to my target, have a ref with me, and give it to them within 15 minutes. Otherwise, the poison just does not work and does not take effect. The other thing to know about poisons is that when someone is under the effect of a poison, you cannot just give them any herbs, because that will kill them. You need to find out, you need to have a apothecary or physic around that can identify with the various roleplay effects they're going through what poison it is. Once again, if you give them the wrong herb or you give them the wrong antidote, they will die. The various poisons, I'm pretty sure, I do not deal in poisons. I do not make them. I do not know them. I don't really know the recipe list yet. It's last on my list. Just so I can know the antidotes. That's what most people take the poisons for. Right. Apologies. I know that I said the last clip was going to be the final word on poisons. I realised after doing the editing that I still had one more point to make about poisons. So here we go. Final point that you should know if you're planning to make, brew, sell, or poison someone is you need 1 dose per person. You cannot make 1 dose of something from Assassin's Gate or Last Resort. Any poison that you make, if you are intending to use it on someone or a group of people, you need 1 dose per person. So if you have a target of 5 people that you're wanting to give poison to, you need 5 doses of the poison in question. Most poisons are put into liquids, hence why you need a ref. You need a ref for most poisons, but they're always poured into liquids. So yeah, if you want to poison multiple people, you need multiple doses. Now remember, they all share the same time limit, so they all share that 15 minutes. So yeah, that is the final word on poisons. Thank you. Okay, I'm back. For you, it will be no different. For me, I got halfway through that take about rituals. So, hi again. My camera died when I got halfway through that, so I'm back again. So, let's take it from the top. This topic is now going to be talking about the rituals, what they do, how much they cost, which ones are most beneficial, what ones to research. Yeah, let's get into it. So, first one you should always look at doing, I always implore my friends and my group to always upgrade their resource, because you're just getting the best out of it. This one, if you know any winter mages or network, find some winter mages for a herb garden. First one is Ruthless Vigilance, Healthy Crop. This is a Mag 8. My mic is now going to die. This one is now a Mag 8. It is a Mag 8 and it's a Mag 4 mastered. So 4 mana, 8 mana if it's not mastered. This gives you 2 additional herbs on top of your regular herbs. So you go from a base 14 all the way up to 24. It's really good if you've got the mana or you've got a winter mage friend. Always look at getting that done, because you're just getting the best out of your resource. moving on, we have, I'm going to keep looking down at my mic just because I don't want it to die, and I don't know if it's on 1 bar right now, so we'll see. I've been doing this all day, this video. Second ritual is Churning Cauldron of Baravash. This gives 5 additional herbs on top of a 5 herb input. You can't go higher, you can't do 6, you can't do 10. The maximum is 5. So, sorry, once again I'm going to be looking at my screen for the information for you, the notes that I've got down. So yeah, for an example, if you was in need of Cerulean Mazzarine and you had 5, you could do this ritual, and after I think it's an hour, you get 5 additional Cerulean Maz back. So you put 5 in, you get 5 back. You go from 5 to 10. Really good, really low mag and mana cost, great stuff. The next ritual I'm going to talk about is called Maiden's Gift. This is a mag 12 or a mag 6 mastered. I'm not going to go into too much detail about what this herb, the effects of this herb are, because as far as I know, it's find out in play. This ritual is somewhat like the Churning Cauldron and Baravash. You put in 5 herbs and you get 5 back. However, this is not like the Churning Cauldron because it is not using the base herbs that the Apothecaries get. This is using a herb called Realm's Root. Again, I'm not going to go into it because as far as I know, it is find out in play. So you know, there's a little bit of information about it on the wiki, but find out when you're at Anvil. But yeah, so you do this ritual, you put 5 Realm's Root in, and after an hour, you get 5 additional back. So that's that. That could be useful. I had a big thing about Realm's Root. I'm not going to get into the economy side of things because that's against the rules and against conduct. But something to look into. It increases your game as an apothecary. So if that sounds of interest in you and you do the research, something to look into. The final ritual I think is worth every apothecary knowing. I've never personally done it, but it is definitely on the list of things you should know as an apothecary, or have someone around you that can do it, or contacts that can do it, is distillation of diverse parts. Now this this ritual is a mag 4, so 4 mana, or mag 2 for 2 mana mastered. This ritual is really useful because it breaks down a potion and gives you back the herbs that you put into it. So for example, like I mentioned earlier, if you made a sovereign specific, my thing is now flashing, so it's going to cut out at any time. If you made a sovereign specific and you now no longer have a contact to sell it to, or you know, you don't sell it for some reason or other, you could do this ritual, 2 mana, 4 mana, 4 mana normal, 2 mana mastered, and get all of your 8 herbs back. Very nice, very good in certain circumstances. Definitely one to look after. Artisan items. Now, there are not a lot of artisan items for apothecary related game. There are 2, only 2. I'm not going to give my personal opinions of whether I think they're good or not, because that, you know, that's personal to me and Toddy. Make up your own mind and see what you think. So the one thing I will say is these artisan items are very similar in certain ways, which I think you'll understand as well and you'll recognize as well. So the first one is the Esoteric Cauldron. Sorry, I'm dyslexic, I'm struggling with these words. And the second one is the Wormstone Mortar. Now, the reason I'm saying they're similar is because either one allows you to, when making a potion, you can replace or exchange a herb for another one of your choosing. They are very similar in that sense. They are different herbs that you can exchange for different herbs, but they both do that same thing, but with different herbs. So yeah, So that is the artisan items. Now, obviously, I would love there to be more artisan items for Apothecary. It's something that I'm working on. It's on a back burner, but I would love to see more. Yeah, I think it would be great for us to have more. Final closing words before I do my outro. Some things you can get involved in as an apothecary. Right, honourable mention, definitely worth a mention. If you're an apothecary, first thing you should definitely look at doing, if you're an apothecary and if you're new to Anvil, is go to the Apothecaries Guild. They can provide you with game, they can provide you with contacts, they can hire your services, they're great. Also, I will mention that the Apothecary Guild, now Imperial Apothecary Guild, have recently got solidarity, which means they have been recognised by the Senate and by Conclave to say that they are the Apothecaries Guild and they are the main people that deal with apothecary related things. They have powers to interdict, which they have done, whereas previously Conclave had the power to ban potions and recipes and bring new recipes into the Imperial Law. Whereas now, because the Imperial Apothecaries Guild has been recognised and has been made a solidarity, they now have the power in that. Very good, go down, very nice people, go down, meet them, network, talk to them. You can vote. I don't know the ins and outs on the Apothecary Guild. I still need to join. I've been very busy, like I previously mentioned. I'm a very busy trader. I do try to go by once or twice an event just to say hi. Once again, very nice people. Go and talk to them if you have the time. If you're new to Anvil, definitely give it a go. Yeah, we will move on to the next point. There is if you want to help develop and grow the recipe sets, Navarre currently have I can't remember the name of it specifically. I'll try and put a thing here if I can. I'll go on the wiki and have a look at it. They have a herbal college, an apothecary college, where they it's player made. Player took multiple years to try and get it up and running, and he did it. Navarre are in a bit of a bad situation right now. If you're new to Anvil and you're just joining and you're seeing this video, Navarre are in a bit of a bad situation. It's unsure whether they're going to potentially lose the college. They're currently fighting the Vervain and the Druge in the Cerulean, and I think that the college in question is in Cerulean somewhere. I could be wrong. Again, I'll put a little thing here if I'm wrong. But yeah, how that works is, when they're researching new recipes, they will ask, that it will say on the wiki or the wins, this is the potential new recipes that can come into Imperial Law, or that can be learned before they come into Imperial Law. We need X amount, and it will be a vast amount of true Vervain, Cerulean Maz, or certain amount of herbs and stuff like that to get the recipes made. Once again, Navarre are in a bit of a bad situation right now with the Vervain and the Druge and poisoned area, so I don't know if that's going to continue, but it's something to look into if you join Navarre or if you just want to get involved in some apothecary things. If you're looking to be a trader of the apothecary, I'm not going to go into the economy side of things, but my advice would be, and you can check my TikTok page, I'll put a little thing down here for my TikTok page that basically talks about more about the economy. A lot of it is meme templates, like CapCut templates with like memes, but I do have some videos that go specifically into trading at Empire. Again, I'm not going to mention it here and the economy here because it's bad conduct. But yeah, if you're looking into trade, my advice would be that Start slow, find out, pick a niche, find out what your group needs, find out what you really want to sell, do your research, test small things, start small, definitely start small, find out what sells, what doesn't, stuff like that. If you are an apothecary and you also feel like me that there should be some more artisan items, then maybe look into the forge. They have a big forge. Again, I'm forgetting the name off the top of my head because I'm not an artisan, so I don't know what it's called. Again, I'll put a thing here to say what it's called. But essentially you can submit ideas for new artisan items. I would love to do that. I've just sadly not had the time. I'm a big trader. I've been focusing on the money side of things. I do have an idea for a ritual arcane projection that I'd like to do. If you're new to Anvil, don't worry about that. Arcane projections are something else not to worry about. But yeah, so that's what I would say. Those are the 3 things that I'd focus on. That would be my advice to you in a closing summary. Outro coming in the next clip. Right, outro clip. Here we go. So, if you have reached the end of this video, I want to say a very big thank you. Hopefully you have enjoyed it. It's been informative. This video has mostly been aimed at new players coming to Anvil, but if you're an existing player and you found it helpful, I appreciate it. Any feedback would be great. This is my second video. Obviously, like I've mentioned, I have a TikTok account that focuses on economy and some politics. I'm not really a political person, especially in the Empire setting, but mostly economy. It is memes, but there are a few longer form of contents that talk about the larger side of Empire economy and things like that. Yeah, I would love some feedback. If you have any, feel free to comment. You can like it, anything, whether it's constructive or whatever you think. If you would like to engage, then please engage. I will respond to any comments. Yeah, I hope you've enjoyed the video. Like I said, I've tried to learn from my previous video of what I think worked and what I think didn't work. And hopefully you can see that with the changes that I've made regarding edits and insert shots and things like that. And hopefully it's a lot more fluid than my last video, because my last video I did just have a teleprompter, where although in this video there is a lot of this information can be found on the wiki, it is also a culmination of my knowledge and my experience, which I hope has come through to you. Like I said, I've been coming to Anvil for going on 5 years, and I feel that I am finally in a place to help those that are new to Anvil. So yeah, hope you enjoyed the video. Feel free to like, subscribe. Upcoming things, I may be working on a podcast which will be focused on trade and the virtues in Anvil, and yeah, overall virtues and the economy within Empire. There is, like I mentioned at the start of the video, there's a vast amount of podcasts. However, I just personally feel that although some podcasts briefly touch upon the economy, I feel like there is a place in the market for economy and trade, and I would love to fill that niche. If that's something you'd like to see, again, please engage, please comment if you'd like to. Yeah, thank you, bye.